Hi, welcome to another PHP tutorial. This tutorial is going to be on generating an image and setting some text to that image. As an example, I'm going to be using a welcome. For example, the text I'm going to use is going to be welcome to PHP Academy, and then the user's name is going to be echoed out. And this is going to be put into a JPEG image. You can use different image formats such as PNG and others, but I'm going to be working with JPEG now to keep things simple. Okay, to start with, what we need to do is generate our image. Now to do this, we use an image function. Now bear in mind, to use these image functions, you need your GD library support on your PHP install. Now this is default with most installs, but if it's not installed, you need to either find out how to use it, how to install it, contact me, or download a PHP package that has GD support library installed. Okay, so we're going to create a variable called image, and this is going to be using the function image create, which comes with the GD package, and we're going to create an image of the dimensions, let's say 200 by 20. Now this is the width and this is the height. Usually things are ordered by height and then width, but this is going to be width and height. Okay, the next thing to do is to create a foreground and a background. I'm going to create my background first, and my background is going to be equal to another function, which is image color collaborate, image color allocate, get mixed up. And basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to specify my image as one of the parameters and a color as another. So my background for this, to show you that the dimensions of the picture, I'm going to use a black background so you can see clearly where the image starts and where the image ends. Now the foreground is going to be my text color in this example case, and this is equal to the same function, so we can copy and paste this, provided I've spelt it right. Let's just give that a check. Image color allocate, yeah, that's right. And color we're spelling C-O-L-O-R. I'm not sure if it matters, but I'll leave that up to you to test. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to indicate that to our image that we've created here and our dimensions, and we're going to give this a value of 255, 255, 255. And this is in fact in RGB format, so this would be white and this would be black. If you don't know how to work these out, you can either go into Paint, Photoshop, or there are a lot of online converters and lists of RGB format colors. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our image string. So for now we've got our image set up. If we say come onto our page, we can see there's nothing on here at the moment. This is because we haven't set our image. The final setting of the image works a bit like this. We're going to say image JPG, and we're going to put the name of our image in here. Now there's one problem with this issuing this command. If we refresh now, we'll see that we're going to get a load of rubbish on the page. Okay, this isn't understood by a user, it's not a picture, it's rubbish. So what we need to do is we need to edit some header information. Now the header information that we need to change is the content type. So we're going to write content hyphen type, we're going to use a colon, and then we're going to say image, and we're going to say /JPEG. Now what this will do is it will set the content type to an image, mainly in a JPEG format, and then this command will be able to be processed and the image will be able to be displayed properly. So if we refresh that, we now have an image. We can right click and we can see that copy image location. This is in fact an image, and we have up here in Firefox a little displayed image here. Okay, the next thing to do is to add our text. Now we'll do this before our header information is sent out. Let's group these up here so we can know what we're doing. Right, in here we're going to use the image string function. Now this holds a few more parameters than these functions here. But first of all, we're going to set the image that we're going to apply the text to. And then we're going to have a font size, and I'm going to set this to 5. This should just about fill the box. And then the dimensions, the X and Y dimensions. So for example, for now I'm going to say 5 and 1. This is on the X coordinate, this is on the Y coordinate. Okay, the next is the text, so I'm going to write test. And the last parameter is the color of the text, mainly our foreground color that was set here. Okay, so if we refresh that, we can see that we've generated an image with a text test. So this can be viewed separately, it can be copied, pasted into Paint, any Photoshop, any image editor that you own. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this to a bit bigger text. So let's say welcome to PHP Academy. Okay, so if we refresh this, we see that we have one problem. This is slightly overlapping, particularly if I say, for example, Alex, I'm going to refresh and we're not going to be able to see this. Now what I'm going to create here is a dynamic script that takes an input variable from the get header, so for example, name equals Alex, and what I'm going to do, which isn't processed at the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this to the picture. So you can see how useful images can be. Now what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to create a variable called message, and that is going to be equal to the following. Welcome to, in fact we can just take it from down here. So what I'll do is I'll take all this and I'll leave this part out for the moment and I'll paste this in here. Now this I want as a separate variable, so I'm going to write that as name, and the name variable up here is going to be equal to, and if you haven't already used this get, I suggest you look at my other tutorials, and name. So this is going to get our name variable from our header information, and that is going to be processed into this message, which is welcome to PHP Academy name. So this at the moment would read welcome to PHP Academy Alex, as up here we have my get header name set to Alex. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to set this in here to the message, and we can refresh. Now we can see that what has happened is nothing has changed. You can see that this is in fact too small to fit all the text in, and this is to do with the width. Now if I set this to 300 for example, we can see that this does in fact accommodate. But what happens when we have a name such as Alex James Garrett, which is my full name? We can see that it still overlaps. Now what we need to do is we need to set this dynamically, which is the width of the image, to accommodate for the length of this text. And for this, I'm going to say a variable called length, and that is going to be strlen, and that is going to be the length of my message. And I'm going to times this by about 9.3. Now the reason I'm saying times by 9.3 is because I'm estimating, because of my character width here, I'm estimating that this, and I did play around with this earlier, so I haven't just taken it from the top of my head, will accommodate for the width of each character. So basically what I'm doing is, as I'm saying, for every one of these, times it by 9.3, and that is going to give me the correct width for each character that is in here, namely this name, which is going to change size. So if we refresh this, in fact we need to set it to here obviously, so this is going to be equal to the length, and we can refresh. Okay, so you can see that's gone to the correct size. If I just knock it back down to Alex, we can see that that's gone back down to that size. Now if you don't understand this, or you partly understand it, I'm going to just walk through it again. Okay, we're getting the get variable from the top, which is equal to the variable name is name inside the get variable, so the user sets this to whatever they want. Then we create a new variable called message, and we have our standardized message, which can be changed, and we'll change this, and we're echoing out the name after that. Now the length of this is equal to the string length of the message, which includes this name, and that's times by 9.3, which is to accommodate for each single letter not being one single point. Otherwise we'd have a very small box, which I can show you now. When we refresh that, if we don't times it by 9.3, we're going to get a very small box. So we can times it by 9.3, and depending on the font size you've chosen, you can experiment with this figure here. Okay, then we're using our standardized functions to create our image. We're creating our background color, which at the moment is black, and our foreground color, which is white, using RGB format. And then what we're doing is we're putting a string into our image, which is our function. Up here. Our variable message up here. We're putting that into our image. We're setting here the font size and the X and Y coordinates of that, and we're setting that to the foreground color. Then we're changing our header type, and we're using this to echo out, or basically display our image. So that's basically our PHP image, and this is using the GD library support. Play around with this. There are much other useful functions, and I'll probably go through this some other time. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.